Lil LappyVlog 2. You're not a loser. So basically, I realized that my whole life has been one big continuous loss. And it took me until now to see that, I wasn't a loser. I'm kind of at the worst point of my life right now. I'm having a good time. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm happy, I'm doing well, trying to feel a little bit better, constantly stressed out. But this is probably the hardest time of my life. Not too long ago, I wanted to shoot myself in the head. But, I was able to see everything good that came out of this whole life thing that I really don't want to be a part of, but I obviously had no choice. My whole life, like since 9 years old, I was like freaking depressed, like seriously depressed, and it just got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and more serious as I got smarter, I got older, I experienced what real life was like. I got kicked out of school. I really, I got bullied at some points in my life, didn't have too many friends. I kind of went through it, dude. I kind of went through it, and it wasn't easy, it wasn't fun, and never did life really let up. I had some moments of freedom, mentally, or some moments where life wasn't as hard, but I was still mentally captive. It was hard, it was hard. But it took me coming down to my worst, to have that thing or whatever kick in inside of me, whatever it is, whatever this mentality that I've grown is, it really took that. And it took me to, it took that for me to see like everything good that came out of my like terrible life, you know what I mean? It took that whatever it is, like I'm in the middle of nowhere, right? No friends here. All my friends are back on the other side of the map. I'm in Arizona right now, and I hate everybody here. Everybody hates me. I go to a really terrible school. And then it's people like that, cars, driving crazy. People everywhere I go. I'm not even going to talk about how I'm like really living out here, And it's hard, But I remember my worst day where basically every single bad thing that was going on hit the hardest. It was a day we were in the studio, and they the band or whatever that was there, played one of my favorite songs, and it kind of sucked because I hated where I was at. But I started thinking to myself, like, everything that I experience here is a distortion of everything good that has happened in my terrible life. Between music, love, friendships, family, everything has been distorted. And I asked myself why, and there have been plenty of times where I've asked myself why in life. But this was a different type of why. It wasn't like a cry of agony, like why me, but a real question. Like why me? Like why is this my life? Then I realized all of this was for me to find the good in the bad, and for me to grow as a leader, as an artist. And then I just recapped over my whole life every bad situation, you know, because my life was terrible, dude. It's not like I was on the streets, like, diving through the dumpster to get food, you know, standing in a food line. No, you know, I didn't have I wasn't struggling, you know. I always had what I needed, and you know, some of the things that I wanted. It wasn't a bad life, you know, but it was truly terrible and it was painful. But I was able to look at all of that and see what I gained from all of that, and seeing that develop this, you know, instead of why me, you know, the question, why me mindset. That's what it developed. And, you know, start to think about everything. And as each, you know, question that I had for myself was answered, I learned a little bit more and I grew a little bit more, you know. Whole bunch of failed relationships out here, you know what I mean, with these worthless people. Like, everybody in Arizona is worthless. I'm sorry if you listen to my music, you live in Arizona, you know, maybe you're different, you know, maybe you're a good person, but from what I've experienced, everybody here is pretty terrible, you know, no matter where, no matter who. And it is what it is, but it taught me. Meeting some of these people showed me who I don't want to be as a person, who I don't want to be as a leader. You know, it made me reflect. Some of these people taught me how to love myself. Some of these people taught me how to be intentional about how I treat people. You know, some of these people taught me to love like I'm in love, you know. And it taught me to grow, you know. And being on your own, you know, in every way teaches you to be strong. And having nobody watching out for you in any way teaches you how to be responsible for yourself. Seeing these people just do these crazy things teaches you how to be accountable, you know? And I had to grow because I didn't have any other option. You know, it's either I depend on these people and eventually die, like, there are multiple ways that I could have died, or I had to grow up and I had to man up and I had to become who I had to become. So as time went on, this mentality grew in me and I became stronger and stronger into, you know, what I am now. And I realized, had I not gotten kicked out of the school that I was in, that was so great and amazing, I wouldn't have the true friends, you know, that I have. And being here just makes me appreciate that, you know, not having them around to call or hang out with every weekend, you know, it makes me appreciate that. Not getting in these, you know, these relationships that failed and hurt me so badly. That's where my music comes from. That's where that Lil Lappy, you know, sound comes from. You know, getting made fun of at school for my clothes, even when I wore the newest Jordans. It made me be confident in my skin, you know, and that helped me to develop my own style, the way that I dress, the crazy things that I wear, the crazy music that I listen to. You know, it helped. And being looked down on in school back then put a flame under me to be better than I could ever be. Those other failed relationships held me down, dude. Kept me alive when I don't think I could have been alive. You know? So many things to be grateful for. And to take as a win, you know. It was terrible. It was painful. It was a loss. But such good came of it, you know. And if school never went how school went, you know, which is crazy, you know, I wouldn't be here and I wouldn't have learned this. And quite possibly I could have died when I planned to die, you know, when I should have died. And none of this music would be here. There'd be no hope for any future, you know. Yesterday, I lost $60 straight up. And I'm not even going to talk about what it was over, you know, maybe later, because It's a crazy story, but I lost $60, but I learned something. And yeah, I lost $60. I kind of got ran off on, but I've realized some things, and it widened my perspective, and it opened my heart up a little bit. It was something that I I'm like, yo, take that dusty $60, that raggedy $60, because the lessons that I've learned are worth more. Take that money that my mom shelled out for me to go to this school and live here. Keep it, roll around in it, spend it on Versace or whatever. I may not have, gotten anything practical out of this. It may not have been an enjoyable time, but I learned and I grew. And now I truly feel like a leader, a creator, an innovator, someone who can push the culture forward, someone who can push this hive mind forward into where it needs to be. Because right now we're kind of primitive looking at it. There are a lot of things we haven't opened our eyes and our minds to. And that's the reality of it all. So it's a loss. It took me having nothing to get here. So, I don't know who's watching this, and I know I don't have like many fans like that. I'm not really anybody like that, but think about, the losses. Take the pain to the chin, dude. It's real painful. I know how much pain this world and the people in it can inflict on you. This Arizona thing is painful. It hurts. It's a constant hurt. It's a constant hurt. People constantly hurt me, I'm in pain. But you take it to the chin and you learn from it. And yeah, that loss, it may be a conventional loss, just like I said in that music video. A conventional loss may very well be a personal win, There's something that you can gain from it in the future so that you can double back and do more, be more, survive more, And it's pain. And when you're in the thick of the situation, you can't really see what is to come of it. Yeah, I know that because my whole life has been a continuous terrible situation, and people can tell me to lighten up or whatever, but that's really how I see it, and that's how I'll always see it. But when you come through that, think about what you can gain to make a better tomorrow than today. You know what I mean? Crazy, Because right now, I may be at the bottom of the totem pole. Everybody in my hometown, most of the artists are doing better than me, even though they suck. Well, they don't all suck, but a couple of them suck. They may be doing better than me, And I may be hurting, I may be in pain, I may be constantly stressed. But I've got a stronger mindset and I'm in a better position to succeed than I've ever been. You know what I mean? So if you feel like you lost, you're losing to this situation, or you're a loser, or whatever, don't feel that way. Because you may be a loser now, you may have lost this situation, but if you flip it and you learn from it and you keep the ball rolling and you keep moving, you're gonna win in the end. Even if the situation doesn't end the way that you want it to end, you keep that in mind. You build that mentality, you build that system of thought, and you'll win. Or maybe building that system of thought is your win. You never know. But keep your mind open and stay sharp, but keep hope, and that'll keep you alive. Much love, Lil Lappy. Like, comment, subscribe, whatever. But that's my piece for today. That's my second vlog. Later.